Good morning, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed that conversation with Monica Habet and hope that you make your way on October 15th to Trey's Bar and Grill for a holistic day of wellness and, get some food, get some yoga, get some hiking on going. The place is perfect, so go out and enjoy yourself. It's a whole family affair. And we're having our next conversation, and joining us on our couch, we have British High Commissioner Nicole Davison. I mean, she's fresh in Belize. So we're gonna take the opportunity to get to know her better. Of course, what are her plans as British High Commissioner in the country? And they're having a very amazing event on Friday, which commemorates the Day of the Girl Child. So we're gonna hear everything that's scheduled for that day and why you should participate. Before we get into that, Miss Nicole, how are you feeling this Wednesday?
I'm feeling great, thank you. So tomorrow marked my 4-week point in Belize. So as you said, I am very fresh, but I'm absolutely loving it so far. So I'm very happy to be here, and it's a good Wednesday.
It's good to hear that you're enjoying your stay so far.
Yeah, I remember in your video that you had posted, when you were appointed and everything, is that you're like, I want to try all the food. Also, if people have any place they want to tell you to go, have you been going any places as yet? Or?
Yes, so I've been to Hopkins, I've been to the zoo, been to Shenantonich. I ate at Trey's this weekend, so it was great to hear them just now. But I think one of the things I really want to do is you can't get to know a country from behind your desk and from your office. You really can't. And obviously one of the reasons I joined this career as well is because I love to travel and experience different things. And I like to do things that aren't so obvious as well. So, things that are a bit less touristy, a bit more, what people in Belize would enjoy. So I'm really in the market for any recommendations, places to eat, places to visit, etc.
I love that. And that's the thing that I was telling you guys when we saw the message. I'm like, I'm liking the fact that you don't want to stay behind your desk, because that's pretty easy to do and just like have people that are on the ground tell you X, Y, and Z. But for you, it's actually going out. And I think that is what's going to really make the difference. And how we go forward, projects and events like the Day of the Girl Child, because then you have that firsthand sight into what's taking place, like the real scope of it, and I think that really makes a difference.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really by having conversations with people as well that you can really start to feel about what are the things that we can actually do here and what can we work together on. So I think that's a really important factor of my job.
Yeah,
so in that
really good strategy you're doing.
I know, right?
Yes.
People take some notes.
Take some notes. So let's talk about the upcoming event.
Yes.
That's taking place on Friday. So it's commemorating the Day of the Girl Child. Why did you find it to be a very important event to host, and what can folks expect when they attend?
Well, first of all, I mean, the International Day of the Girl Child is a day marked by the UN, and it's just past its 10th anniversary. And it was basically initiated to really kind of highlight some of the issues that girls face around the world. So, I mean, I think we all know about the issues around gender-based violence, around girls' access to education. And, for example, if you look at teenagers between 15 to 19, 1 in 4 girls are not in further education, whereas with boys it's only 1 in 10. So it's something that I feel personally quite passionate about as well, because, even when you're living in countries where, on the face of it, it seems easier, there's still a whole swathe of society and, countries in the world where access to education, etc., is just not possible. And that's why I kind of think, particularly as females in certain positions, it's really kind of incumbent on us to kind of share our experiences with the next generation and, share some of the things that we learned and maybe some of the mistakes that we made as well, and things that we could have done better that maybe the next generation could do differently. So that's why it's something I feel personally quite passionate about. And then I was delighted when Ashley Lightburn and Rossi Brown said that they would join us. And so we're really looking forward to this conversation. It's on Friday at 1 p.m. All the details are on our social media pages. So we're hoping as many people will tune in for what is basically just a conversation between the three of us.
I love it. And it's important to start the conversation. I think people always like, oh, action, action, action. But no, I think when we start off with a conversation, it changes mentalities and then, of course, changes behaviors afterwards. Because you're right, there's a lot of young girls that are not subjected to the same advantages that boys are subjected to. And I think we forget it sometimes in society, that there are a lot of backwards mentalities that we have to be able to warp into a, I wouldn't say right, but a more current, way of thinking. So it's great to have these conversations. So it says at 1 p.m.
At 1 p.m, yes.
And anyone can tune in?
Anyone can tune in. It's a live stream event, so we're doing it from my very high-tech office. But anyone can stream in, and we're hoping that as many people will join. And, there are other things to talk about as well. So, I mean, not just sort of like the real obvious hardships, but even just things like, even in the most surprising places, the expectation is still on women to take time out from their careers when they have kids. That puts them back in their careers, etc. So, you know, the whole sort of how do we be more egalitarian as well is really important to us too.
Is it okay for people to send questions ahead of time?
Totally, yes.
Is there an email that they can send their questions to?
They can do it through Facebook, so that sets all the links, and I think we can do it through Facebook Messenger, for example. My colleague is going to host it, and we'll send in as many questions, and we'll answer as many as we possibly can.
I love it. I love it. So we're going to
Nicole, like, I mean, you had me when you said that you kind of have like a personal investment in addressing, you know, issues that are affecting girls and women. So like having that sense of like, you know, purpose, how does that impact your involvement as British High Commissioner in the country?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, inevitably as High Commissioner, you some of what you are engaged in is obviously set by the policies that we have as a country. But having said that, personal passion does come into it as well. So gender, diversity, inclusion, equity is something that's always been forefront of what I like to work on and what I enjoy working on, and I've done it throughout my career. So I think it makes a difference when you feel personally passionate about something as well. But there are loads of other things as well that we work on as the High Commission. So, for example, climate change is another area where we're very forward-leaning. But what I also want to do is kind of take the time to have lots of conversations and then see what else emerges. But that personal passion for what I do on a day-to-day basis is something that's really important to me.
Awesome. You know, one of the things that I really commend the British High Commission for doing is every year in June they raise the Pride flag.
Yes.
And that is like meaningful to me as an LGBT person, but to the community and you know, breaking barriers, you know, showing people, you know, the inclusion, the fact that there's international support towards a movement, and you know, it really like allows us to see like, hey, we can make a difference out there. And it's really good to see also like initiatives like this, because it highlights inclusion, it highlights inclusivity, as you rightly mentioned. You know, there's a big disadvantage when it comes to girls and women. So these conversations are so impactful.
I would really want to encourage people to, because you mentioned that they can go into the Facebook page and send a message. If you've had an incident that you want to share to us, well, is like, you know, that would be something that fuels the conversation, because there's a lot of people that have stories that we don't know. There's people in the rural areas that, you know, are going through their different thing in different communities based on their cultures, that are experiencing some indifferences. And so I think sharing these things, making people aware of it, can help us to, you know, gear our programs and projects towards things. So people speak out. This is the platform where you guys are going to be addressing it, talking about it, and see how we can move forward.
Exactly. And I would fully endorse that. I would really encourage people to send in any questions, remarks, particularly for me as I'm so new in the country. And I think personal stories are so impactful and really help us understand some of the issues as well. So I would love to hear personal stories. And who knows, if we have too many questions for 45 minutes, my colleague's going to hate me for saying this, but we might do it again. You know, maybe do a second and third round, and or around perhaps other issues related to equity and diversity as well. It doesn't have to be gender. But it's only the beginning of a conversation. It's not the last thing we're going to do by any means.
I love it.
This is exciting. So for the folks that are listening to this conversation and want to tune into the event on Friday, what advice do you have for them as to how to prepare to come to this event? You know, so
what kind of mindset they should be
mentally,
like emotionally, how do you prepare to soak up what's going to happen here?
Yeah, well, I think just think about if you had sort of like 3 women from very, very different backgrounds in the room, what is the one thing that you would want to ask? What is the one takeaway you would want to hear about? You know, we have some great experience. I mean, Ashley's been doing amazing work as Miss Belize. I'm really looking forward to meeting them both. I haven't met either of them. So, and Rossi's story as an entrepreneur. How do you start a small business in Belize? How can you that sort of like female entrepreneurship, I think, is so important. So I think that will be a really interesting conversation to have. You know, for Ashley Lightburn, perhaps something around sort of personal impact and how do you get your message out. So I think, you know, we all have very different stories and very different backgrounds. So, but I think there's no question that's off the table, basically.
Oh, I like that. And it gives it really open to people feeling like they can connect to as well with you. Because it isn't just about the questions, it's about the person to see, you know, how can I relate to where this person is, where I can get to as well? Because that helps people to feel like, you know, whatever place I'm in, there is, you know, a next place that I can get to. There is, you know, a level I can level up from.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think that's super important.
Exactly, I think
So,
you're right.
besides from the Day of the Girl Child, you know, you said you've been in for 4 weeks. I'm sure you're scoping out the place, hearing enough stories and all of that, and really open to more so people that, you know, can share and see, like, can you guys, you know, work on this area, whatever it is. Is there any new projects that is on the way in your thoughts or anything that's taking place right now?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a good history of project funding anyway, and around various things such as infrastructure, building resilient or retrofitting hospitals fit for climate change, for example, that type of thing. We do have a couple of exciting funds coming down the road. In fact, applications have just closed for a biodiverse landscape fund, which comes under a big umbrella fund from the UK called the Blue Planet Fund, which is about £500 million across 6 areas, of which Belize is one. So applications have just closed for that. So that's going to be sort of a big environmental thing that's going to be happening with a sort of 5-year duration. We're ramping up our work on sustainable blue economy, so clean oceans, the blue economy. So very much a climate lens to the future project that's coming down the road. However, we are always in the market for other projects around, as I say, equity, diversity is very, very important to us. And that comes in many, many different ways. You know, be it, we've done projects in the past about around gender-based violence and kind of how you can inform yourself on that. We've done work in the LGBTQ space. So it's something that we're very open to. So at the moment, as I say, the 2 big ones coming down the road do have a climate lens, but there's always stuff that we're looking at and always more that we want to get into.
Definitely. And you know, like, a lot of folks, whenever they would hear climate lens, they think about environment. Yes, but at the same time, it's like, we have to talk about the people that are getting affected by climate. So it highlights the fact about addressing inequalities, addressing, you know, resilience and vulnerabilities of people. Exactly. So it's definitely exciting stuff. And one thing, because with the British High Commission, is that there's a very good guide if you want to apply for these things, right?
Yeah.
What you're looking for, what are your focus, and you know, it's a really great opportunity for folks that are tuned in.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes.
So I know, like you said, you've been here 4 weeks, and we've talked about, you know, projects and the climate lens and so forth. Is there any remarks that you want to make for, you know, NGOs out there, community, in regards to, you know, your being here, or any project you would want to see them maybe like an idea towards? Because I know we said we're on the climate change, but for you, being here 4 weeks, and I know it's a short period of time, but on just the conversations and maybe, you know, the sites that you've seen, and so is there anything specific that you think you'd want to see, like an NGO or a group of people in general just work on when it comes to Belize?
I think, you know, there are so many organisations and so many people doing good work here, and I think the problem is that we don't always know about all of them.
That is true.
So, you know, and one of the things I'm also keen to do is we're based in Belmopan, you know, and we're not a huge office, so I want to know what else is happening outside of Belmopan and what's happening outside of Belize City. So, for example, who are the NGOs and individuals doing work in places like Hopkins or Punta Gorda or in the Keys, for example. So I'm really keen that we use our connections to kind of widen our range and then connect perhaps with NGOs and individuals who we may not have worked with in the past. So we're very open to those connections, because I think the more we know and the more people we connect with, the more we can know about the work that's being done here. So for us, the key point is really about connectivity and connecting with people. So I would encourage people to reach out and tell us about the work that they're doing. Okay. And, you know, we can then take a conversation from there as well, particularly around the environment. And, you know, you make a really good point about just how it actually goes beyond the impact on your physical environment. It actually goes to, you know, to impact communities and individuals, and there are certain people within the communities who are affected more than others in climate change. You know, for example, around certain social classes, for example. So, you know, it's just a really important conversation to have. We want to make it as broad as we possibly can in many different areas. So, yeah, I'd say to people, tell us about the work you're doing, and we'd love to have a conversation.
Yeah, please reach out to the British High Commission. Yeah.
I should be careful what I wish for. It might be a bit
overwhelming.
overwhelming.
With 1,000,001 messages. I mean, there's definitely, you can have ciphering through to see exactly, and that could be a way of you guys building your own directory too as well, to make sure you know, okay, this group deals with this group deals with this. So I think that's really helpful. So
Exactly.
you hear it? Miss Nicole has said it, guys. If you know, just it's not even about saying that you want to do X, Y, and Z. Just say what you're doing, because you never
Yeah.
know. Maybe there's a project that comes up that that could be keen on you. But also pay attention to their Facebook page to see what they're doing. Ask questions. This is the time that you ask questions. There is never a dumb question to me. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have one last question for you. So,
Yes.
as you prepare to come to your mission to Belize, what is it that you want to be remembered for? What is the impact that you want to have here?
So, it's really interesting. When you go into any new place, you always think about, you never know what's coming down the road. And I always find this period most exciting because there are so many people out there that I don't know yet who are going to become friends and who I'm going to connect with, and issues I'm going to work on that I can't even conceive what they might be at the moment. But at the end of my time here, be it it's usually around 4 years or so, I think I'd like to be known as someone who made a contribution, who showed up, was supportive of the right things, and that, the office has a positive legacy in that we've taken forward things that actually made a difference to communities or certain sectors or, NGOs, etc. And also, working with the government as well is really key to what we do too, and forming strong relationships. So, yeah, I think just, someone who made a difference and showed up for the right type of thing.
We love it. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
To you and your colleagues and everybody that's going to be collaborating with the British High Commission. Wish you all the best. And we hope that it's not the first and the only time they're going to be here on
hope
our
so too.
couch.
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime that you have something exciting to
Yes.
share about
Thank
the
you.
British High Commission, any opportunities for folks to engage in. You're always welcome.
Well, thank you. Well, your couch is super comfy. So I'm happy
We
to
love
do
to
that.
hear that. We love to hear
I
that.
love it. I love it. And, it starts off on the great foot. For people out there, I think this gives them, they already had the video to help them know a little bit of a taste of who you are, but this conversation really dives in a little bit deeper. And then, guys, we have the Friday conversation too as well,
Yep.
that you can dive in even more deeper to understand, what you stand for, and also how you guys can collaborate, what's out there, resources. It's conversations that start the real movements, guys. So please have them. Please ask questions. Please be out there. Please follow the Facebook page. This is how we make differences. You think it's just a click of a button. Following. Really, it's that.
And don't forget to send the recommendations to Ms.
Oh,
Nicole. I hope you get to
Please
visit
send
Orange
her.
Walk at
Yes.
some point.
Yes,
Exactly.
because I think you've been more down south. So Orange
So
Walk
far.
has a lot happening
Yeah.
too as well, and Corozal and everything. So you have 4 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, but I want to do it all. I want to do it all.
Yes.
So it's going to be exciting. And again, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so much
here.
for
This is
joining
such a
us.
fruitful
Yeah.
conversation. We can't wait to have you back.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
No problem. And so with that, guys, we go to our next commercial break. When we are back, we're going to be talking about exciting things with Miss Shark that, we want to be able to tune into her career. She's been winning medals and she's been great things. We want to know how we can support her and what's next in her career. Stay tuned.